Demons don't fear your volume, they fear your worship. And that's exactly why they've been trying to distract, discourage, and detour you from it in every way possible. Because worship isn't just a song, it's a weapon. And hell knows that when a believer truly learns how to worship in spirit and in truth, chains break, strongholds crumble, and darkness loses its grip. What they don't want you to know is that worship shifts atmospheres not because of the sound itself but because of the surrender behind it. Psalm chapter 22 verse 3 says God inhabits the praises of his people. And when you begin to worship, you're not just singing, you're inviting the presence of God to step into your situation and take authority over every demonic assignment trying to take you out. The enemy doesn't mind if you go to church, listen to Christian music, or wear a cross around your neck, as long as your heart stays disconnected and your worship remains superficial. What terrifies demons is when you worship God through pain, when you lift your hands through heartbreak, when you declare his goodness while everything around you screams defeat. Because that kind of worship isn't emotional, it's spiritual warfare. They hope you never discover that worship realigns your focus, silences anxiety, and invites divine strategy into your battle. You think your storm is proof God has left you. But the real truth is the enemy attacked you because he heard the sound of your praise coming before the breakthrough. Satan used to lead worship in heaven. He knows firsthand the power it carries. Which is why he works overtime to pervert, distract, or drain it from your life. If he can't get you to curse God, he'll settle for making you silent. But worship, especially when everything in you feels like giving up, is a prophetic declaration that says, I still believe, even when your circumstances don't look like it. It's not just singing about God, it's reminding hell who he is. Worship was what brought down Jericho's walls in Joshua chapter 6. And it's what confused the armies in 2 Chronicles chapter 20 when Jehoshaphat sent worshippers ahead of the battle. Because real worship confuses the enemy and shifts the odds in your favor. Some of you think you're weak because you cry during worship. But that brokenness is strength in the spirit. Psalm chapter 51 verse 17 says a broken and contrite heart God will not despise. The truth is, demons hope you never figure out that worship isn't about having a perfect voice, it's about having a yielded heart. The moment you stop making it about your feelings and start making it about his glory, something shifts in the supernatural. Worship is how Paul and Silas broke out of prison in Acts 16, not through pleading, but through praising, and it wasn't just their chains that fell. It was every prisoner around them. Because worship has a ripple effect. When you worship, you're declaring that God is still on the throne, even when life doesn't make sense. And that kind of declaration terrifies the kingdom of darkness, because it reminds them that their time is short and their power is limited. So here's the warning, if your worship has been under attack, if it feels hard to lift your hands or open your mouth lately, it's not a coincidence, it's a clue that hell knows what happens when you break through. Don't let numbness or distraction rob you of your greatest weapon. Don't wait until the battle is over to worship. Learn to worship in the valley. Because that's where victory is born. Worship isn't a filler in your Sunday service. It's a battering ram against the gates of hell. And when your worship comes from a place of real love, deep surrender, and raw trust, it becomes fire on the altar that no demon can withstand. So rise up, warrior, and worship, not because everything is perfect, but because he is still worthy. And when you do, heaven moves, hell trembles, and breakthrough becomes inevitable.